Welcome to a special edition of the Referrals podcast. Introducing our new Daily Dose. We've assembled the ultimate crisis response team for your business. Generous leaders from around the globe teaming up to teach, guide, and lead you through this time of isolation and quarantine. Now let's meet your host, Michael J. Maher.
Hey everybody, this is Michael J. Maher with another episode of the Daily Dose. God bless technology. It looks like we are on. We are on for our daily dose of positivity and productivity. I have to tell you, I absolutely love the handwritten notes I'm getting, the Facebook messages I'm getting about the Daily Dose. We have people who literally have all these Zooms and all these trainings, and they have decided to make the Daily Dose their one thing. I mean, that is so humbling. That is so amazing. That's like a miracle. That's a beautiful thing. And we talked earlier about making the centerpiece of your day, the masterpiece of your day, each and every day. Figure out when your energy is at the highest, make that the centerpiece of your day, and then make the centerpiece of your day the masterpiece of your day. And people are doing that, and I love it. I have to tell you, I love the shout outs that I'm getting. I love the things that we're doing here, the people that this is making an impact on. Thank you, thank you, thank you, first and foremost. We did not go lightly into May. We really had committed to doing just April. And then I have to tell you, you made us do May. It was your comments, your attendance, your sharing that made May happen. So you need to give yourself a big giant high five when it comes to us doing the Daily Dose all the way through May. And I can't even imagine a better way to kick off May than with our guest today. But I'm going to make you wait, and I'm going to make him wait 2 minutes so that we can do these announcements. But I will tell you today, how would you like to drive revenue to your business during this global pandemic? And here's the thing. How would you like to learn what the number one thing leaders should be doing now to support your teams? And just so you know, you're all leaders. You're all leading Facebook groups. That was part of your assignment as part of the Daily Dose, was to create and lead a Facebook group. There's no better time to build a Facebook group in the history of Facebook than right now. And so guess what? We're all leaders. We're going to learn much more about that in just 1 second. So quick announcements. 30 mornings starts May 11th. Listen, that's a week and a half away. Starts May 11th, my dad's birthday, 30mornings.com, 30mornings.com, or you can go to 30ams.com, 30ams.com, AM for another miracle. Now, by your popular demand, we are doing a free vision board class. Are you kidding me? Yes, a free vision board class. And I want you to know that this guy is going to be in the front row, taking notes, doing my vision board. I'm going to learn from Jen Scarparo and Sherry Maher. I'm talking so fast, it's like, so I'm excited about this class. Jen Scarparo and Sherry Maher are teaching how to create a vision board Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. So BYOB, it is bring your own beverage to this event, and there will be wine flowing. So also tomorrow, do you guys know what tomorrow is? I bet Rene knows what tomorrow is. So today is May the 4th be with you. It is Star Wars Day, as it should be. Tomorrow, Cinco de Mayo. It's Cinco de Mayo. Tomorrow, I am hosting a Cinco de Mayo party, May 5th. And I will tell you that we are actually going to do 5 p.m. Eastern. My thing says 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to do 5-5-5. You know what? We're going to start at 5:55. How about that? 5:55 tomorrow. We are going to celebrate Cinco de Mayo tomorrow. Tomorrow, speaking of tomorrow, is Tuesday. Joe LaRosa is in the house from Florida. He's going to talk to you about creating explosive growth in your business. Wednesday, we have Barry Habib. Like, literally, I'll just leave it at that. We have Barry Habib on Wednesday. Thursday, it's Roger Savvy out of California, the Tony Robbins of South Africa, right? And then Friday, we have Shalee Davis, one of our certified mornings coaches. And I will tell you, what a week, what a week. So now it is time for you to start your watch party. If you are not familiar with how to do that, go to share right down below and to the right, just hit the share button, go up, and it's going to say, how do you want to share it? Click on start watch party, and then generosity generation group will come up. You do not need to start a watch party in this group. Everybody's already watching this one. But you can start a watch party on your own personal profile if you have not developed your Facebook. And I want you to do this. I want you to do this. Today is safe. There's no cussing. There's no, today is going to be motivational for everybody from 11 to 111. So this is a very good one to share and start a watch party. If you don't know how to start a watch party, just put in the comments below, IDK watch party. And trust me, there are about 100 people here who are ready to help you do that. Also, all right, I'm going to tell you, I've got his intro right here, and I am excited to introduce today's guest. This is one of the smartest people I know. I want you guys to know that. And not just one of the smartest, but one of the master implementers in the world. I've known this guy for quite some time, and I will tell you, this guy not only talks the talk, he walks the walk as well. For the last 20 years, Rene has researched and applied behavioral neuroscience as a dynamic keynote speaker, leadership advisor, world-class sales expert, of course, and renowned speaking coach. Yet, he believes that we are only scratching the surface of what is possible and that every profession can benefit from fully engaging the human mind and the brain. With this new environment we face in the quarantine times, and armed with a refreshed identity and mission, it's important for us to consider what kind of leader we are and we want to be. As our world begins to re-engage, when the all clear is sounded, you are going to want to be all the leader you can be. And Rene Rodriguez is here to help you do that. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Rene Rodriguez. Welcome,
What's up,
brother.
How are you, man?
You know what? I'm a lot better now. I have to tell you, it's just like this daily dose is an energy bubble for me. I'm already pretty energetic, but I'm fired up when I'm on these things because I get to talk to people like you and share that conversation. You and I had a conversation about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. And it was just at the end of it, we were like, could you imagine if somebody was a fly on the wall to that conversation?
Yeah.
There would be a dent in the universe from that conversation. So today we get to kind of have that conversation. Not even kind of, but I'll tell you, I want to do some real quick questions with you, if that's all right. Right?
Sure.
All right. So what's your birthday?
September 5th, 1975.
9/5. And what's your hometown? Where'd you grow up?
Miami, Florida.
Miami. What high school did you go to?
What high school? Cretin-Derham Hall.
All right. And most people would consider you one of these 4, and you can only pick one.
Okay.
Number 1 is straight to the point. 2, social and outgoing. 3, steady and dependable. Or are you 4, cautious and perfectly accurate?
Straight to the point.
All right. And what's your number 2? Would it be social and outgoing, steady and dependable, or cautious and perfectly accurate?
None of those. Probably, but steady and dependable might be the only one.
Okay. All right. Which one of those are you just absolutely not? It's social and outgoing or cautious and perfectly accurate?
I'm social and outgoing for only one of 2 reasons. Other than that, I'm an introvert.
Okay. Very good. And spouse or significant other?
In terms of, I'm not married, but
Okay.
I do have a significant other.
Okay. And what's their birthday?
April 21st.
Nuh-uh. So just celebrated it. Just so you know, Sherry's is the 22nd. So very cool. All right. And what would you consider them? Straight to the point, social and outgoing, steady and dependable, or cautious and perfectly accurate as their number 1?
Outgoing.
All right. And what would you think would be her number 2? Straight to the point, steady and dependable, or cautious and perfectly accurate?
Steady.
All right. You have any children?
3.
Yeah, 3 children. What are their names?
Alex, Renee, Diego Valentin, and Roman Elijah.
What was the last one again? I'm sorry.
Roman Elijah.
Roman.
So, if you guys don't know what Michael's doing, this is what makes him so incredibly smart. He's building his database knowledge right now.
Yes,
and if
sir.
anybody, I just dawned on me now, the genius of what you're doing right now. And he put this first above everything. Because guess what's going to happen now? I love it. Good for you, dude.
We shall see. Do you have any dogs or cats?
2 dogs.
2 dogs. What are their names?
Hercules and
Oh,
Adonis.
dude, seriously. I love it. And Thor.
What was that?
And Thor.
Adonis.
Dude, I love it. You've got Alex, Diego, Roman, Hercules, and Adonis. Those are like the 5 greatest names in the history. If you had a Thor, it would complete the thing, right?
Right.
What's your favorite color, man?
Well, growing up in Miami, moving to Minnesota when I was about 7 years old, I never really felt at home, except if I was in one place where if I was on a beach and I looked up and I saw palm trees, I knew it was at home. I knew it was as close to my food, my friends, my family, my music, my culture, and palm trees are green. So my favorite color is green.
Oh my God. That is the best. We usually get like black or blue, and sometimes I'll ask why. And they're like, I don't know, like boom. How about that? TV show or favorite book? Do you have a favorite TV show or book or both?
Well, I'm reading this one right now, which has been great.
Okay.
I've got these 3 behind me: Story Brand, Pitch Anything, and The Outsider Advantage.
I love it. All right. And then favorite non-alcoholic drink?
Water.
Yeah. And what about alcohol? Like if you were going to go to a bar and I was going to buy your drink, what would I buy?
I don't drink very much, but if it was going to be something, it would be either old fashioned.
Okay. And then what's your favorite dessert?
I don't really do desserts either.
Yeah.
I eat other bad foods. Creme brulee.
Yeah. All right. And favorite artist or band? Like Stacey Alcorn on Friday, like totally dropped the ball. She said Nirvana. And like, if I had to guess 100 bands, that was going to be her favorite. She's like the most straight-laced, like Boston is like Nirvana. It's like, wow.
Ruben
so
Blades.
How about you?
Ruben Blades.
Okay. I love it. You have a favorite actor or actress?
Actor. God, who do I love? I like a lot of them. Let's go Matt Damon for right now.
Okay. Matt Damon.
I know there's others, but
yeah,
that's what came up.
And then what's your favorite sports team or sports teams?
1997 Chicago Bulls.
Oh God. Is The Last Dance awesome or is it awesome?
I'm waiting till it's all out so I can watch it all at once.
Oh God. You
I
are
can't
literally
wait.
You have not watched the first 6 episodes?
I watched the first part. I'm like, I can't do this. I gotta wait.
You are gonna be blown away.
I know. No, I know.
It's behind the scenes. Do you know that?
I've heard.
This is all stuff I'd never seen before. And I watch all that stuff on Jordan for years.
I've heard. I heard that he said he's going to look like a jerk afterwards, but
No. I mean, it's real, right? Is he human? He's human. Right?
I love it.
All right. So bucket list item. So what's on your bucket list that you want to do
Cuba.
next? Do what?
Go to Cuba.
Cuba. I love it. What's the best vacation spot you've ever been to and would go back to in a heartbeat?
I don't even know what vacation is. I go on. It's hard to decipher trips, work trips with vacation, but Australia was beautiful. I loved Australia. South America is always great. Anywhere in the Caribbean is amazing.
What is one word of advice or one sentence of advice that you would give to your 18-year-old self?
It was that was given to me, or that I wish I would have.
That you would, right? That you would now give yourself now that you're older.
Save more money.
Man. All right. In the comments below, we got 200 plus people listening and watching, Rene.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
it's like we're setting records left and right here. The most we've ever had, 350, and we're only 10 minutes in. So this is crazy. But here's the thing. Everybody that's watching right now, in the comments, I want you to tell me, what is the advice you would have given your 18-year-old self that might have changed your life or might have been really appropriate for you. So for Rene, it was save more money. You can't use that one, right? So if you do save more money, then you need to add one as well. So you're going to give your 18-year-old self advice, put them in the comments below. And Sherry is watching, and we'll take that. Now, let's go right to what we've all been waiting for, right? And Rene, thank you for being a good sport during all that. And I have to tell you, I did not know your kids' names. And I'd love to follow up with their birthdays, if that's all right. Is that all right?
Right now?
Yeah, you got it. What are they? You know?
Yeah, Christmas. So Alex is 19, Christmas.
Okay.
Diego is 16. That's March 11th.
March 11th, 3/11.
Yeah, and then Roman is December 7th.
12/7.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it. Love it. All right, so here are some of your answers. We've got finish college is the advice. Invest my money. Join the Air Force. Wow, that's interesting. Mara Lee Peterson said, believe in yourself. Jade Schneringer at KWCO Realty said, stay connected with those I love. Boom. Invest money from day one. Shelly Hummel. Heather Wilton says, remember, preparation meets opportunity. Yvette Marie Peterson, welcome to the Daily Dose. Donna Owens, be yourself. Heron Kreitner said, study hard. I love it. I love it. If I didn't say yours, they're coming hot and heavy. I still love you. I just don't, I gotta get to this stuff, man. Renee's got good stuff. So we're about to unload it and drop it on you. So here's the thing, right? I mean, we're going to go straight to the neuroscience, right? Is how does stress, stress is just an interesting word, right? How does stress, isn't that kind of funny? Desserts spelled backward is stressed. Have you ever made that link before?
I've heard
like
that,
when
yeah.
you're stressed, we tend to eat more desserts, and notice it's with an S. So how does stress affect our ability to think clearly and make rational decisions? And how can we manage it? Is it even possible to manage that stress? And how do we manage that stress, Rene? Because people are feeling stressed right now.
I used to be an amazing basketball player. I could sit at the 3-point line and hit 23, 24 out of 25 shots in a row.
Wow.
I was amazing until my coach walked in. The moment my coach would walk in, I would miss completely. My muscles wouldn't work. Nothing would work. And so the question is, did it matter that I was good when he was not there? And the answer is absolutely not.
Wow.
And as I get older, the more I'm learning about performance, the more I learn about what people are looking for, the more I've spent time with Navy SEALs, the more I've spent time with professional athletes and coached them. When you get to an elite level of anything, it's not about know-how anymore. It's about, will my body and my mind perform to what I've trained it to do? And that comes back to biofeedback. And biofeedback is typically measuring stress response or heart rate variability. So if you get a heart rate monitor and it says HRV, that would measure the variability in between heartbeats. And the less varied it is, or the more varied it is, the more the higher the HRV is, the higher stress you are. So that's the measurement of stress. And what ends up happening under stress is certain parts of our brain shut down because stress is the indication of survival. Stress is high, typically means so there's some sort of danger. And so we begin to prioritize what our body and what our mind is going to be paying attention on. And if stress is high and our brain thinks we're going to die, our memory of our presentation goes out the window. Our perception of what's going on goes out the window, and we're thinking about, how do I survive? That's the typical fight, flight, freeze response. Mm-hmm. And so you look at Navy SEAL training, you look at a professional athlete getting ready to perform in the NFL Combine. The majority, after their training has been done before performance, they spend their time on mental strength, which is typically how to breathe. Because breathing is the only bridge between what we call system 1, which would be your sympathetic nervous system, the excitatory response, and system 2, which is the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the relaxed response. And that balance between the two is the high performance place. And the only place to get there is breathing. That's why Navy SEALs made famous box breathing. Mm-hmm. Breathing in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds. And so you've got this box breathing. That triggers the parasympathetic nervous system to engage. The good thing about those two systems is that they can't function at the same time. And so what's funny
Now,
is
hold a
that,
second, Rene. I don't mean to interrupt you. I hate to
please.
interrupt ever, but it's like, okay, first of all, you dropped like 9 knowledge bombs right there. As far as the biofeedback and the breathing, and you went through a very quick breathing system of the 4, the 4s, right? 4 in,
Hold 4.
hold, 4 out, hold 4. And it's one of those where what you're saying is that when you do that, it calms you down, but there's something it triggers in your neurosystem, in your brain, or is it in your body, or both?
It's your nervous system. So
Okay.
it's taking, so think about it. If you have 2 nervous systems, one is the excitatory response, one is the relaxed response. They can't function at the same time. That makes them antagonistic. And so if I am in the fight flight response, the stress response, and when that happens, it triggers our breathing to go short, shallow. We get less oxygen to the brain, continues to tell the brain that we're going to die. We continue in this method, but if we can control our breathing, it sends a message back to the nervous system to calm down and engage the parasympathetic nervous system, which engages higher parts of the brain to let us think to the future, think about consequences, and remember what we've studied. And so what's interesting though, and the sad part about this is that I've spent 24 years now teaching executives and learning how to talk about something that's seemingly so soft and that becomes a punchline, but is truly the secret of high performance, which is managing personal stress.
So this links back to like being in the zone. We kind of talked a little bit about Michael Jordan, and, they said, they kind of observed him, and they did all these different video angles, even from people's personal angles of when they were doing videos of Jordan, and when they were just like, he couldn't miss. Like he hit 12 in a row one time, he hit 14 in a row one time. And what's interesting is they found out like his eyes were slightly crossed. They found out that he was actually more relaxed than other times during the game. He was actually more relaxed when he was in the hot streak, when he was in the zone, than other times. And he was actually like not even winded. Like, now he got winded towards the end of the streak, which is why the streak ended, but it was one of those where it's just like, it's amazing how much this lines up with, using that 4 breath technique to almost like get into the zone. Is that what we're talking about here?
You're absolutely correct. It's the balance between stress and relaxation, because you need a little stress. Stress is a good thing.
That's right.
If you're going up to play baseball, you're a baseball coach.
Oh yeah.
That stress makes you more focused. Your muscles begin to wake up. You see things a little clearer, but the moment it goes too far and it tips over that curve, muscles get tightened, our blood vessels constrict, and things don't work as well. So there's got to be a way of balancing just the perfect amount, and that perfect amount creates the flow. And there's a great visual of 2 circles interacting, what a Venn diagram looks like.
Yeah.
And that interaction of one, which is discipline, and the other circle is surrender. When discipline and surrender interact, that middle place is the flow. But it's hard. I mean, it sounds great to say discipline and surrender, but there is a sense of, and I tell people, I said, well, I'm going to, like in my Amplify course, we teach people public speaking, but I tell people, I said, look, I'm going to teach you the technique. We're going to teach you the secrets. I'm going to teach you the sequencing of how it works. But then I'm going to ask you to forget it all. And I'm going to need to help you manage your stress, because it doesn't matter. Anything that you learn, if you can't do it while you're under stress, doesn't matter. If you can be a nice guy, you take the parenting class on how to be a great father, but under stress and financial stress, you come home and you hit your kid, none of that mattered. If you go to the leadership class and you read this great quote and you see this platitude up there on the wall, but when stress comes in and you become a blaming and abusive manager, none of that mattered.
Yeah.
Only matters if you can do it while under stress.
So this goes back to like discipline is practice and know-how. So like, I'll give you an example. There's a dinosaur outside the cave. You freak out, right? You freak saber-toothed tiger outside the cave. But if you have been trained to defend yourself and club the saber-toothed tiger to death, then you don't go into, paralysis of fear, or fear by or whatever, paralysis. You go into a hyper alert stage that embodies confidence as well.
Yes.
That's the flow, right? Is that you're right. No stress is not good.
No.
Stress. I mean, the saber-tooth tiger is engaging something within us that is good. If channeled, that energy within us can help us achieve things we never dreamed possible. And yet it needs to be channeled. It needs to be controlled as much as possible. And it needs to not how much of it goes into emotional versus logic, because it's like, if you practiced it, you kind of go into, okay, I can deal with this. If you haven't, then you're in sheer fright. You're stage fright versus some of the most electric performances of our time.
There's 3 words that I've been saying for 25 years: structure, order, and predictability. Those 3 words, structure, order, predictability, are what calm that part of our brain. And you can actually see it behind me. I keep a little drawing right there of the brain where my thumb is right there. It's the reptilian brain, the lizard brain. We've had all sorts of things. System 1, the basal ganglia. There's a million names for it. But that's the part of the brain that engages, and that's the part of the brain that needs structure, order, and predictability. And that's typically what we lose in times like this, is we lose the structure, order, predictability. And leaders, the ones that are truly leading, which is why this show is great, because it's structured, it's ordered, and it's predictable. It's every day, right? And you do it every day. Mm-hmm. That provides a sense of leadership, something we can depend on. But if I don't work for you, what if the guy that I work for, the gal that I work for, isn't providing any of that? Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden it's lost. And so
Are you enjoying the Daily Dose? Want to connect with thousands of other business owners that are winning the referral game while working from home right now? Head over to the Generosity Generation Facebook group. Connect with leaders, visionaries, and business owners from all over the world. Go to www.joingengen.com. That's www.joingengen.com.
But there are 3 things that leaders need to be doing right now.
I'm all over that. Let's go to it.
And it's an interesting balance of these 3. The first one is empathy. And these are words, and you got to just bear with me on the overuse of these words, because I'm going to give you something and maybe a different approach to look at this. But it's empathy, transparency, and authority together.
Well, at least you didn't say pivot.
Or unprecedented times, right?
Empathy, transparency, and
authority. And here's how they work. You have to be able to provide all 3. One is to say, you understand, look, guys, I understand this is a very difficult time and times are changing. Empathy. I need to understand what's going on. Transparency. I don't know the end outcome of what's going on or what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Authority. But I do know this, that we are going to continue to do the things that our customers need. We're going to continue getting better at what we do. We're going to continue driving world-class service to our clients. And this is what we're going to be doing and how we're going to be doing it. Or, guys, I know yesterday was scary. It was scary for me too. That was empathy and transparency right there. I said, but here's what we're going to do, because we've done this before, and here's the next step that we're going to take. Those 3 pieces are so critical and such a beautiful balance in what true leaders that are truly transparent do. You can't do it this way. You can't say, guys, I don't know what's next. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
That's transparency with no authority in there. You got to have both of those.
What's the plan?
Yeah, you got to have that. And that creates a structure, order, and predictability in that. But for me to feel like you've understood me, that triggers a second part of our brain, the limbic system, to be able to say, okay, he's heard me or she's heard me. And now I know that you care, and I'm willing to allow myself to listen to you. But now what's next? If you don't give me a plan, I'm going to go back to my fear mode and create my own plan.
That is, this is like mic dropping moment number 1,000 for the Daily Dose. It's one of those where, what's interesting is that, and I'll line this up and I'll do it in 15. You're here. I mean, we're here for you to talk, not me. So I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible, but it's like,
please, no, dude, this is great. The dialogue's great.
Yeah. When we came out of the ego era, which essentially ended around 2006 to 2007. And the ego era was, we're number one, everything's about we're number one. And for a long time, literally 80 to 90 years, the consumer had a mindset towards being sold. The mindset was find me, sell me, like hunt me down, find me, and then convince me why your product is the best, overcome my objections, and sell me a pen, right?
Yeah.
And so what happened in about 2004, it started changing, and then 2008, it changed almost overnight because of the Great Recession. But what happened is the consumer changed from the ego era to the generosity generation, what I'm calling the generosity generation. And the generosity generation consumer is, it used to be about always be closing. Now it's like always be connecting. And let me even go to the next step that ties into exactly what you're saying about leadership right now, is the new consumer is not find me, sell me. The new consumer is hear me, help me. And the mantra of the ego era was, I am number one, or we are number one. And people they were attracted to that, but no longer. People don't care if you're number one, number two, number 10, whatever it is, right? They just care, can you help them? And it's that hear me, help me is hear me, truly listen to me, and then help me. If your service or product isn't the solution, then refer me out or help me in another way. Connect me to something or somebody else that can. And you're telling me that this ties to leadership. The leadership is hear me, empathy, help me, transparency, which is the transition to the authority, and leadership is actually hear me, help me, as well as the consumer. I have never made that tie-in together that the way people are is the way they are. The way they were before, find me, sell me, is they would follow the biggest ego and the loudest voice, and they would follow it. And that's what you wanted to be. But in today's world, it's a different kind of leadership. They want hear me, help me leadership. Yeah. And I had never put 2 and 2 together on that, Rene, until you broke it down like that. And I'm done. Let's just end it right here. It's just like, that is so profound. That is an amazing, that is amazing.
Well, it's what you've been teaching with Generosity Generation, is around servant leadership, around giving, and about being transparent. And it's what you've been living and doing. And so I love how you applied that to the customer as well, and how that's changed. In today's society, we have changed. We've seen it. What I tell people, transparency isn't a choice anymore. Mm-hmm. You're either transparent by your own personal choice, or you're going to be transparent by what somebody posts on social media about you. You can't go somewhere and hide. There's going to be a camera there. Transparency isn't a choice. And so you have to do it and get out in front of it. Get out there. And people need transparency, and they're going, and that's what connects us, because we need connected leaders. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to help me, I need to understand that you've been where I've been. Mm-hmm. And when you can tell me, say, you know what, I understand that feeling. I had a personal trainer that says, you know what, and they didn't start off with how perfect they were. They started talking about how they felt about when they were struggling. And I was like, I can connect with that. I can connect with that. And so, but you got to also have the authority. You got to be able to do that. And if you don't have the authority, don't be the coach, mm-hmm. right? You got to go out there and put the work in. You got to carry the water for years. You got to go out there and make the mistakes and get the results and do the things, put the work in, so that you can go out there and lead. And sometimes you don't have to have it. You just say, you know what? I don't know what it is, but I know I'm not giving up. And that might just be the message I need to hear.
The leader, the authority is the decision making as well. It's like you've got to be strong enough to make the decision, knowing that it's not perfect. No, who was it that said imperfect action is always better than perfect inaction? Harry Truman, right? It's like imperfect action is always better than perfect inaction. And it's one of those where it's like, you know what? Who has ever been through a quarantine before? The only ones that had to be around 1918, 1919, 1920. There aren't too many of those left, right. So it's one of those where it's like, nobody's been through a quarantine time. If they say they know exactly what to do, then they're lying. Right. The fact is we know what to do in a time of chaos. The enemy of chaos is structure. You hit it with, what is the enemy of chaos? I'll give you structure, order, predictability. What's the enemy of stress? Structure, order, predictability. What's the enemy of bankruptcy? Structure, order, predictability. What's the enemy of divorce? Structure, order. Well, maybe that doesn't quite work that well. But the thing is it's structure, order, and predictability that are so, like, you don't know this, but I did crisis response 101. It was literally the Thursday that we got to stay at home, and I did mess or success. What does success look like in quarantine times? Well, the first S, I did an acronym. Rene, you know I love my acronyms.
Yep.
Success. The S of success was structure. The first S was structure. The enemy of chaos is structure. And then I went through the U, C, C, U is you, C is clarity, C is communication, E is energy, the S is serve, and the last S was strategy. So I started with structure, and then the strategy is going to give you hopefully order and predictability.
Absolutely.
So, but it's one of those where it's like, let's go to revenue, right? I mean, like, one of the things that we haven't had a lot of leaders talk about is like an avenue of revenue. Like, how do we drive revenue to our businesses during the global pandemic? I think that might be the number one question in business right now, Rene.
Well, I'll tell you this. I did a post on this a while ago, but creativity, innovation has been something that's been fascinating for me for a long time. And somebody asked me, what do you think is going to happen as a result of all this? I said, it's going to be some of the most innovative times we've ever had. And I said, why? I said, well, my mother, a long time ago, she asked me to go she said, Rene, because I told her I was bored. I made the mistake of saying I was bored. And she said, okay, go grab your crayons, and I want you to be creative and draw something for a half an hour. And I said, fine. So I went over and I grabbed, remember that 64 pack of Crayolas? The ones that had the sharpener in the back?
Yeah.
Where you open it up, you could hear the angels sing with all the colors.
Oh, yeah.
And she said, but hold on a second. You get only 2 colors. And I looked at her and I said, what are you talking about? She said, Rene, I need you to understand this. Creativity is not about having every color in the spectrum. Creativity is having only 2 colors, but working wonders with those colors. And ever since then, and I've seen it play out, creativity comes from constraint. You want to stifle creativity, you give too many options.
Yeah.
You have too many options on somebody to buy 16 different. You ever go to Cheesecake Factory and you see the book of all the things you can eat? You don't even know what to do, but you go to a place that's already there. You're like, great, I'll do this and this and that, and it's done. And all of a sudden, people feel better. Creativity comes from constraint. And so when you can look at people from Cuba coming over here and the creative measures that they've had to do to create boats to come over here and the rafts that they've done, cars that still function from the 50s and the 60s with no imports. Creativity comes from constraint. And so we have an opportunity as leaders and as people to say, okay, now that this is happening, look what's happening in innovation in just all the digital services within mortgage and real estate. The efficiencies that have had to get done. They didn't have a choice. They're like, oh, we better innovate. And all of a sudden, all these things are happening. It's going to be an innovative time. So what drives revenue? Yeah. The same things that drove revenue before. There's 6 things that I've always talked about. You talk about them in the same thing. Prospecting, setting appointments, presentation, closing, aftercare, and referrals. 6 money-making activities. I have them right up here. They're always something that I talk about. But I call it PAPCAR, P-A-P-C-A-R. Yeah. Prospecting, appointments, presentation, closing, aftercare, and referrals. Those things are the foundational pieces of a sales process. And when I was 18 years old and I got in sales, I was told there's only 6 ways you make money, and those are the 6. Anything you do outside of that is complete waste of time when you're in sales. Now, how are you going to drive revenue? Is you got to get creative within how you prospect. You got to get creative in how you set appointments. Zoom is making that very easy for us. You got to get creative in how you present value. Yeah. You have to. And right now, if programs are shutting down for your loan programs, or if they're not letting you show homes, you got to get creative. You have to get creative. And guess what? The moment you say there's no way, you're dead. But the moment you say, you know what? I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. Yeah. That's what's going to win.
I think the number one outcome in the real estate world, and I mean maybe even lenders, warranty, insurance, inspectors, is the concept of a initial consultation. I truly believe that one of the biggest things, the first thing that goes in a hot market, is the initial consultation.
Thank you.
Yeah, they just rush out and show homes, right?
Yep.
Or whatever it may be. And this has led to death. I mean,
Yep.
literally, this has led to death of agents who rushed out and ended up, getting killed because they didn't screen the wasn't even buyer, right? It wasn't even potential. It screened the person.
Yeah.
And, if you're going to do an initial consultation or buyer consultation, here's everybody needs to do one. And guess what? Now you've got Zoom. You can do one electronically just as well as you can do one in person. And some of you are like, well, I don't have my buyer's consultation or my listing presentation really done. I would start with your buyer's consultation out of those two because the buying process is a little happier, a little easier for the flow. But the number one thing you can do right now is post on your Facebook page is, I'm designing a buyer's consultation. I'm going to give it in Zoom. Would you mind attending? Would you mind practicing?
Feedback.
Yeah. And say, hey, listen, I'd love your feedback. But I need to practice it. Would somebody please, let me practice? What's interesting, I did that back in late 90s, early 2000s. And I used the practice technique to pick up more clients than you've ever seen.
Me too, man. Oh,
you practice, they go, oh my gosh, that's really good. Or they go, oh, if you could add this or this, and then you're like, oh, I'm adding that right now. And you literally add it right now. What does that do for the person who attended your fake buyer's consultation? I mean, it makes them an advisor. It gives them ownership in your success, and they're going to refer you because like no other agent is doing a buyer's consult. That's what's so funny. I heard about it and I was like, oh, I'm doing a buyer's consultation every time because you know what? There's an opportunity for referrals there. And you practice it, you do it, and then it becomes world class. Well, it's an instant differentiation. It also becomes a big referral thing that people can talk about. And you actually get referrals by slowing the process down, and it takes control of the process. We control the process. They control the decisions. And it's like, if I had one wish, it's just like, listen, get your initial consultation done.
Amen. Amen. I couldn't agree with you more. It's the saddest thing that happens in these industries are low interest rates, because then people create a false sense of value creation by just being available. It's you didn't create value. You were around. Now here's the thing, take advantage, but don't confuse it with reality. Any other industry requires a presentation of value for people to be able to make a decision. Yep. And if you don't know how to do that, interest rates go up, you are out of the business. Mm-hmm. So you have to understand how to create value, how to take in, do a needs analysis, what's going on, be able to tell your story in a way that differentiates you from somebody else. Because we're in a market of choices. People have endless choices, and then choices becomes around differentiation. And if you don't give them a value proposition, they'll create it for you.
That's right.
And they'll do it by what they can measure, which is price, commission, or interest rate. Those are the things. And if that is the saddest moment when they say your commission is too high or your interest rate is too high, because it tells me immediately they had nothing else to measure you on.
Yep. And that's the power too of when you're referred, ask them what the referral source said about you. Yeah. Because then you'll really know your value. And I had to learn, that was probably third or fourth year in the business before I learned that. I wish I would have learned it with the first 500 referrals I got. But it was just one of those where it's like, ask them, hey, what did the referral source say about us and our services? And you're going to, first of all, you might be surprised. They might say something like, oh yeah, Michael, he's great with first-time home buyers. He works with a lot of first-time home buyers. He's kind of the first-time home buyer king. And then you're talking to a first-time home buyer and you're like, okay, listen, here's the deal. We do work with first-time home buyers, but we also work with first-time home sellers. We work with move-up buyers and sellers, and we do work with the people that are really buying that final residence as well. But the thing is you know what? The same components of all that. So you may have to re-educate the referral source. It gives you an insight
to what your brand is,
as well as the referral. That's right. That's exactly right.
Somebody asked me today. I coach about 5 people at a time. That's it. I'm not a coach. I'm more of an advisor, consultant. I hate coaching. It's just not my thing. I get too involved, too ingrained in it. And they asked me, and this is a seasoned professional, one of the best by referral only people ever, lost some energy around the typical scripting around referrals. And he said, Rene, how would I ask again? And I said, let me not give you a script. Let me just ask you some questions, right? Let's just talk philosophy. I said, first of all, do you believe that now is a good time to buy? I'll ask you, do you believe now is a good time to buy?
You're going to ask me?
Yeah.
I do believe that now is a good time to buy.
I would agree. Yeah. Do you believe that home ownership is one of the most important cornerstones for building long-term wealth?
Yes.
Do you care about your
experienced
clients?
it, seen it.
Yeah. Do you care about your clients?
Yes, I do.
Right. So you're telling me.
A couple of them.
If we believe that this is a great time to buy, that this is a great time to build wealth, and I truly care about you, how selfish are we by not asking? Because when those three questions, they come together, it's not a job anymore, it's a calling. Because if you don't care about your clients and enough to just bring that up, then you got to stop. And so that at that question, if you're talking to a referral partner, you ask that question, do you believe now is a good time to buy? And if they say, I don't know, you're not going to get a referral. You get to be able to answer why now. So you have some education and some learning to do. Follow Steve Harney, learn how to be the best at explaining tangibly why now is the time to buy. Secondly, do you believe that buying a home is a great way to build wealth? If they say, I've been watching Grant Cardone and Gary Vee, so I really don't think so. Well, then now you know where to start. And you got to be able to overcome that objection first. But if they say, yes, absolutely. So you got two philosophical alignments. And the third, Mr. Realtor, Mr. Loan Officer, do you care about your clients? Do you feel like our job is to help them? And do you think we're good at this? Absolutely. If you think, well, I think I'm good at it, but I think you suck. Now I know where to begin because I'm not going to get referral. But if I get yeses to all those questions, then we say, look, if we agree, it sounds like we agree on all those, then what are we waiting for? Where's the list of all the people we can work with at that point? To me, it's philosophical alignment and taking action. But in those questions, we'll uncover the things that typically will stop people from doing that. Because they can go, give me 5 names, and they're going to go, I got to give them 5 names. Yeah. But if I tap into their why, tap into their value system, tap into their knowledge, and then trigger something that creates a calling, now it's both of us together to go take over the world.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. Rene, this has been off the charts, brother. This is, our time has come to an end. I actually have to teach Catalyst in 9 minutes. So need to jump off, Jeff, jump back on. But it is one of those where it's just like, it is amazing. Like, I mean, look at the ground we covered, right? And people, I think one of the things that people really like, there we go, is that, you know what, I'm not here as a coach or, the answer, or I'm here as a student, and you talk about, that creativity comes from constraint. People are worried about having a time block and being too constrained by a time block. What you will find is your productivity, your happiness, and your freedom will increase by the constraint of a time block. It's more like a river than a reservoir, right? Yeah. Right? Why is a river more energetic than a reservoir? Well, because a river has tighter constraints. It's got to get it done in an hour, whereas the reservoir has all day.
Parkinson's law.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you talked about the breathing technique of the SEALs with the 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out, and then the 4 second hold as well at the end of that. And that is so powerful. It aligns perfectly with what Adam Hergenrother said the first week was this 3-2-1 relax. Is all right. You're getting angry. You feel the emotions welling up. You just say 3-2-1 relax, and then go right into that 4-4-4-4. I think we combine those two, and we're going to de-stress the entire population. And then you talked about the mother of all invention, and you talked about going into the zone, getting in the flow, and you broke down the power of flow, which is discipline and surrender, right? The Venn diagram, you've got discipline, you've got surrender. Overlap of those two is flow. And then we talked about the leader of today, which is the Monday's motivation. This is the Monday's motivation of the moment right here. Is the leader of today is empathetic, transparent, and authoritative, and takes charge, and doesn't have all the answers, but is willing to lead. And that's I mean, Rene, this hasn't just been great, it's been beautiful. That's what this daily dose has been. And I appreciate it, brother. I always do. I do want to make a call out to the daily dose people who are watching. Is I wasn't as interactive today because I was so into this conversation. So I apologize. Normally it's much more interactive. I'm asking you guys for questions. I'm asking you guys for pleasantly surprised. I'm asking you guys for different answers, but I'll tell you right now, this was fantastic. Rene,
Thanks,
I appreciate you so much. And thank you for being a guest on the Daily Dose.
Thanks, dude. And thank you for your leadership, continued leadership over the years, your friendship over the years, man. You were a beacon. And when this first happened, you and I talked about Lighthouse, man. You are one of the big lighthouses out there shining bright. And I appreciate it, brother, because you went to work the moment it happened. There you go.
All my Lighthouse cards. So I will tell you, and by the way, Rene does have a Lighthouse series. He's actually talking about how to be a lighthouse. And my quote is, be a lighthouse of excellence in a sea of mediocrity, or be a lighthouse of excellence in a sea of average. And it's one of those where if you want to see Rene speak on this and advise on this, you can go to Rene is RENE, speak.com, CReneSpeak.com/lighthouse. And you can see his presentation, see his consultation, see his coaching, see his presentations, see ReneSpeak.com/lighthouse and get more of Rene Rodriguez wisdom. Rene, thank you so much.
Thanks, brother. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for another daily dose of positivity and productivity brought to you by referralspodcast.com and the Generosity Generation. We appreciate you, and we will see you tomorrow with Joe LaRosa on Cinco de Mayo. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we'll see you then.